Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Trade Genius Podcast. Bob and Phil here. A pretty bloody day in the market. However, Bob has found some doomslayer stocks that are ignoring the wrath of the markets and are actually doing quite well today, and will do pretty well if this market rebounds on a bounce going into tomorrow. So stick around. We're going to show you which stocks those are.
Trade Genius.
Hey, Phil, I wanted to show you some charts today. You know, what's interesting about when the market goes down a lot, stocks that are moving up are stocks you want to pay attention to because they're either hedged accordingly or they're non-correlated or they go up when the market goes down. And so what I want to show you here is, first one is natural gas, UNG. So we did our live stream yesterday. We had very good suspicion that the market would be down today.
Right.
We obviously traded accordingly. But UNG and natural gas likes to trade opposite of the market. So if you got yourself positioned here, yesterday I have a 15-minute chart just to kind of show you the day's action, is that, you know, if you would have got in at the close yesterday, you would have had a gap up here today, and it's been driving up all day long and it's holding its value. So natural gas is a great hedge if you suspect the market is going to go down. Even regardless of what you feel about natural gas on a macro level, they trade it as a kind of like a peer trade to oil. So a lot of times if they're long oil, they're going to short natural gas. If they're closing their long oil positions, which oil was down today, natural gas benefits from it. So I just wanted to kind of throw that one at you. Another area that's been going really, really well is that it's the tankers. And so if you notice here too, they in our system here, this is our heat system. This is the our trend line here. And I mean, right out of the gate this morning, you could have bought the tankers at the open and you'd have been driving higher all day today. So TNK's a tanker. You got Nordic America Tankers, which was up today. You have, there was a couple other ones here. GSL was up today. I'll show you that one. And so you have a number of these tankers that are just, they're ignoring the market downturn. The other one that was very interesting for us today was actually BTU. Okay, so BTU is a coal stock, but they're in such a marvelous financial position, Phil, to when they do their earnings again in January, they're going to be completely out of debt. And I think the market is sniffing this. The market's also sniffing the fact that these guys are a takeover target, and the market also understands that West Germany and China and India have to buy all the coal that's being produced all around the world. So it pretty much ignored the downtrend today. I bought this thing at the close yesterday, and right out of the gate this morning we had a gap up, and it was just a nice trade for me. I had 1,000 shares. I made $600 on the trade, and I went ahead and I closed it because I closed it right into our heat. You see that right here, Phil? That our heat sell area, the first one. You know, you take your profit, hit the top of the Lin Reg here. Good place to take profit when you're trading, especially when you're trading on an intraday basis. 15-minute time frame is a great place to manage those trades. Here's another thing that's pretty wild is that we're getting bids on the Bitcoin miners, which is really interesting to me. So Global X Blockchain ETF was up. You got Bakkt Holdings, which was up today. And then here's another miner, another tanker right here. Star Bulk Carrier was up today. And so it's just really, really interesting. Here's another tanker that was up today, FLNG. I own a lot of tankers. So when the market's nervous, they go to places that can produce cash, have dividends, safe place to hide. And then here's one that you wouldn't expect at all. Tesla was up today. But Tesla was up today primarily, I think, because it was a sell the news against the expectation that Elon Musk was actually he was selling more shares. But long term, Tesla's it's beaten down, and so any kind of push higher on Tesla is going to be a great place to short. And then with that was pretty much it. So I just thought I'd like to share because you know we talk doom all the time, but you can make money both ways in the market if you know the areas that don't like to trade with the market. You know, these are low beta stocks. They tend to buck the trend, and that's what we had. That's what we saw here today. So, but overall for us, for you guys yesterday, you know, we told you guys that the SPY. I'll throw the chart up here real quick while I'm just showing charts. Is the SPY was absolutely positioned for a downfall, yesterday too. So if you look at our ranger, just even on the 15-minute standpoint here, is that the whole day, and when we go at OPEX week, Monday up, Tuesday up, Wednesday down, they couldn't bring it up for Powell, and we know there's a hangover after Powell the next day, and that's what we got today. We pushed into some resistance here, Phil, and maybe we could spend a minute you talking a little bit about maybe a Friday snapback here, because on OPEX they like to kind of close the week out fairly flat. Mm-hmm. And I want to maybe just shut my yap for a second, see if you have any thoughts on that or any of the charts I threw at you.
Yeah, no, right now with OPEX you have to look at like where's the big strikes on OPEX. And right now the big strike on OPEX for the SPX is 4,000. Yeah, and if you flipped here to the ES chart, so basically the big strike here is 4,000, and that acts like a magnet in the markets. So don't be surprised, even though that we've had a lot of like technical damage today, coming all the way down to 3,900. Don't be surprised if we see this market closing out the week up there near 4,000. Now, obviously, it's going to have to get back above last week's low, so that's going to be around that 3,970 mark. I'm sorry, the weekly 9 EMA is up at 3,970. That's key for markets for the markets when they're in a bear market. The weekly 9 EMA is very important, because if you lose that on a weekly closing basis, that typically signals risk off, meaning you don't want to be your portfolio shouldn't be exposed long. If you're back over the weekly 9, then yeah, you can get long. But if you're trading under it and trending under it, you want to be risk off. You want to be defensive. You want to be either in cash or you want to be hedged to the downside. So the 3,970 going into tomorrow is important, but the 4,000 is a big magnet. That's where I think we may go. And if the weekly closes above the weekly 9, that would be a big stick save for the bulls. But you have to keep an eye on that. And we also have to keep an eye on liquidity, which we'll be updating in the newsletter. So yeah, I think don't be surprised if we're up some tomorrow. And I think people got really scared today on today's move, but unless we lose 3,900, there's not a lot of fuel for us to go further down. Now that may change after OPEX when all of the options positioning changes, but as of right now, the derivatives are telling us that 4,000 is a really big magnet.
Yeah, and I want to point something else out here too, Phil. So another little tip and trick for you guys is that the market is red on Thursday, which we are red for the week on Thursday, is that we look for this is one of our algorithms here, is this purple color, meaning it's a sell. If it's a green color, I have them shaded light so I don't overwhelm my screen, is a buy. And I look for these to buy on the 15-minute chart. We talked yesterday at our live stream, 15-minute for ES. You look for these buys here after your closes, and especially if it's after what we call the institutional hour, which is 2 p.m. onward. And what we got here was after your close, we got a bottoming here. And then right here going into the institutional hour, we got a buy signal. And that formed the bottom for the day. So if you're trading futures, this was a nice 15-point move here. And it doesn't look like it's done because now it broke over the trend. And I'm looking at moving VWAP here personally. And here's the range trader. So this is how we look at the markets and how we like to look for areas of interest for us. Like if it broke down below this thing, then hey, that's a failure. Get out of what you were thinking was going to happen. But typically Thursday into Friday, the people who are shorting the markets are closing up shop. They made their money. They don't want to have the risk. And Friday of OPEX, if you have a red day Thursday, they typically will bring it back towards an even area. So this is a good trade. So I personally, we bought some Microsoft Google calls for next week. I'm looking for it just to push up to this 94 area. And then I've actually bought some Snow just to trade going into the close today and see if we get a move up at all. Just a couple hundred shares just to see if they're going to try to push it up or not. So that's kind of what we're doing today. And again, I'm loaded with shippers. I'm loaded with natural gas. I'm loaded with coal. So I trade those a lot, and they definitely run counter to market action a lot. So if you anticipate a down day, those are areas in which you might want to look to hide out in. With that, Phil, I think that's all I have to share today.
All right, cool. Thanks, Bob. Some technical analysis there for you guys on some of these stocks that were very resilient today and may see some follow through into tomorrow. Thanks again for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. It really helps us out, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.